My name is Drew Collins. I'm 18 years old. And 3 weeks before I was supposed to start college, I found out my parents stole $187,000 from me. My grandmother saved that money over 18 years. Every month. Every single month. So I could have a future. My parents drained it all to buy my brother a house. And when I asked why, my mother looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Because he's the one who actually matters in this family." I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I picked up the phone and called my grandmother. What she did next made the evening news. Before we begin, if you connect with this story, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if it truly speaks to you. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it there? Now let me take you back to 3 weeks ago, the day one phone call changed everything. I grew up in Ridgemont, small town, 12,000 people, the kind of place where everyone waves from their porch and nobody locks the front door. Our house sat on Oak Street, a brown ranch style with a patchy lawn and a basketball hoop Tyler stopped using years ago. 4 of us lived there: Mom, Dad, my older brother Tyler, and me. On paper, a normal family. In practice, a ranking system. Tyler was the son. I was background noise. He dropped out of college his sophomore year. His mom threw him a dinner, called it a fresh start celebration. He quit 3 jobs in 2 years. Mom called each boss ungrateful. He moved back home at 24. Mom redecorated his old room. Me? I made honor roll every semester. I joined debate team, worked part-time at the coffee shop on Birch Avenue starting at 15, bought my own textbooks, my own clothes, never asked for gas money. And every time I brought something home, a trophy, a grade report, an acceptance letter, Mom would glance up from whatever she was doing and say, "That's nice, Drew." I remember one evening specifically, junior year. I walked in with a report card, straight A's again, and Mom was on the phone with Tyler. She waved me off without looking, pointed at the kitchen counter. I set the report card down. It was still there 3 days later, unopened. Dad sat at the end of the table most nights, quiet, eyes on his plate. He never said I didn't matter. He just never said I did. The only person who ever made me feel like I counted was my grandmother, Grandma Ruth. She told me when I was 10, "This money is yours, sweetheart. I saved it for your future." I never doubted that. Not once. I didn't know Mom had started draining the account the previous November. Let me tell you about my brother, Tyler Collins, 26. Tall, easy smile, the kind of guy who walks into a room and everyone likes him. He got that from Mom. The charm. The way people just gravitate. What he didn't get was follow-through. He enrolled at State, lasted 3 semesters, then told Mom the professors didn't understand his potential. She agreed. He tried sales, quit. Tried bartending, fired. Tried freelance graphic design, which mostly meant sitting in his apartment scrolling Reddit while invoices went unpaid. Every single time, Mom had an explanation. The system isn't built for creative people like Tyler. His boss was threatened by him. He just needs the right opportunity. And every single time I succeeded at something, Mom had an explanation for that too. Girls have it easier, less pressure. Drew's just book smart. That's not the same as real-world smart. She doesn't have Tyler's burdens. Thanksgiving last year. I'd just gotten accepted to 3 universities. I was waiting for Mom to bring it up at dinner. She didn't. Instead, she stood at the head of the table, raised her glass, and said, "I want everyone to know, Tyler is going to do something incredible. I believe that with my whole heart." The table clapped. Uncle Jim, Aunt Patty, Cousin Sarah, everyone. Nobody mentioned my acceptances. Not one person. Dad sat at the far end, fork in hand, staring at his mashed potatoes like they held the answers to something. After dinner, my phone rang. Grandma Ruth. She wasn't at Thanksgiving. Bad knee that winter. But somehow she knew. Her voice was careful, deliberate. "Drew, I need you to keep everything I've ever sent you. Every envelope. You understand me?" I didn't understand. Not then. "Yes, Grandma. I will." I wish I'd asked why. 3 weeks before move-in day, a Tuesday in July, I'm sitting at the kitchen counter with my laptop open, finalizing my enrollment checklist. Housing deposit, paid from my coffee shop savings. Meal plan, selected. Tuition, to be transferred from my college fund. I call the bank to confirm the wire instructions. Routine. I've rehearsed this call in my head for months. The woman on the line asks for my social security number, date of birth, account verification. I give her everything. Then silence. Not a pause. Silence. The kind where you can hear someone choosing their words. Miss Collins? I'm showing a current balance on this account of $214.36. I laugh. I actually laugh because obviously there's a mistake. I'm sorry. Can you check again? The account should have approximately 187,000. More silence. Keyboard clicking. Ma'am, I'm looking at the transaction history. There have been multiple withdrawals over the past 8 months, amounts ranging from $9,000 to $15,000 per transaction. The withdrawals were authorized by the custodian on the account, a Mr. Roy Collins. My father. I don't say anything. The kitchen is so quiet I can hear the refrigerator humming. Through the window, I see Tyler's new truck in the driveway, the one he got last month. The one Mom said was a good deal from a friend. My hands aren't shaking. They should be, but they're not. Everything is just still. Like the world pressed pause and forgot to press play. $214 out of 187,000. 8 months. They'd been taking it for 8 months. I set the phone down gently, stood up from the counter, and I went to find my mother. She's in the living room, feet up on the ottoman, watching some renovation show. Glass of iced tea sweating on the side table, completely at ease. Mom, where is my college fund? She doesn't flinch. He doesn't even look surprised. She picks up the remote, mutes the TV, and turns to face me like I've just asked about the weather. We used it for your brother's house. He needed it more than you do. The room tilts. Not physically, but something shifts inside me. Some load-bearing wall I didn't know was there just cracked. That was my money. Grandma Ruth saved it for me. Mom smiles. Not warm, patient. The way you'd smile at a child who doesn't understand how the world works yet. Your grandmother can save all she wants. I'm your mother. I decide what's best for this family. That was a custodial account. Legally, it's mine. She stands, walks toward me, close enough that I can smell her perfume, that vanilla one she wears to church. You want to talk legal? Fine, sue me. But remember who raised you, who fed you, who kept a roof over your head. She tilts her head, studies me. Tyler needed a stable foundation, a home, something real. You? She waves her hand like she's brushing away a fly. You'll figure it out, you always do. And then the sentence, the one I'll carry for the rest of my life. He's the one who actually matters in this family. She says it the way you'd state a fact. Sky is blue, water is wet. Your brother matters more than you. Then she unmutes the TV and sits back down. I'm still standing there, but something inside me has already left the room. And I close my bedroom door and sit on the edge of the bed. My hands are steady, my breathing is even. But inside, the math is already running. Tuition deposit, $5,000, due in 10 days. If I miss it, I lose my spot. If I lose my spot, the pending scholarship application, the one tied to enrollment, dies with it. 4 years of honor roll, debate trophies, recommendation letters, SAT prep at the library because I couldn't afford a tutor, all of it, gone. I have $812 in my checking account. That's 4 months of coffee shop tips. It won't cover the deposit, let alone a semester. I run through options. Student loans. I'd need a cosigner. Dad won't sign anything Mom doesn't approve. Financial aid emergency appeal. Possible, but slow. Too slow. I could beg. I could go back to that living room and get on my knees and ask my mother to please give me back my future. But I already know what she'd say. She'd say the same thing she's always said. Figure it out, Drew. You always do. That's the trick, isn't it? They took everything because they knew I wouldn't crumble. They counted on my resilience as permission to rob me. If I do nothing, if I stay quiet, swallow this, keep the peace like I've done my entire life, I lose $187,000. I lose college. I lose the only path I've built for myself out of this house, this town. This ranking system where I will always be second. I look at my phone. The screen lights up. Contacts. The name at the top of my favorites list. Grandma Ruth. I haven't called her yet. Not yet, because I know, once I make that call, there's no coming back. I find Dad in the garage. His workbench is covered in wire strippings and electrical tape. He's been rewiring a junction box for a client. The radio plays low, classic rock. He doesn't look up when I walk in. Dad? His shoulders tighten. He knows. Did you sign the withdrawal forms? He sets down the wire cutters, stares at the wall behind the bench. There's a long, terrible silence, the kind that answers the question before any words do. Then he nods. Why? Your mother said it was the right thing for the family. For the family? Or for Tyler? He turns. His eyes are red at the edges. Not from crying, from not sleeping. I can see it now. The way his jaw clenches. At the way his hands fidget. He's known this was wrong the entire time. Tyler is your brother. We're all family. The money. It'll come back around, Drew. Come back around. I repeat it. Let it sit in the air between us. $187,000 will just come back around. He looks away. Your mother thought. I'm not asking what Mom thought. I'm asking what you thought. You signed those forms, every single one, for 8 months. Nothing. Shed he picks up the wire cutters again, holds them like an anchor. You signed away my future, Dad, and you can't even look at me. He doesn't look at me. He doesn't say another word. I leave the garage, walk through the kitchen, past the counter where my report card sat unopened for 3 days, past the living room where Mom's renovation show is still playing. I go to my room, I sit on the bed, I pick up the phone, and I call Grandma Ruth. She picks up on the second ring. Her voice is warm, the way it always is, like sun through a kitchen window. Drew, honey, everything all right? I tell her. All of it. The bank call, the balance, the 8 months of withdrawals, Dad's signature, Mom's face when she told me. Every word in order, without crying. When I finish, there is silence. 10 seconds, maybe more. Then her voice comes back. And it's different. Not warm anymore, sharp, controlled, like a blade wrapped in velvet. They took all of it? Yes. Grandma. When? Over the last 8 months. Your father signed? Yes. And your mother knew? She planned it. Another silence. I hear her breathing, slow, deliberate, the way she breathes when she's thinking, really thinking, about what comes next. Drew, listen to me carefully. Her voice is steady now. No tremor, no hesitation. That money is yours, not theirs, not the family's. Yours. Do you understand me? Yes, ma'am. I have every document, every single one. From the day I opened that account. Something in my chest loosens. Not relief exactly, more like the moment you realize you're not alone in a dark room. Grandma, I don't know what to do. You don't need to know yet. That's what I'm here for. A pause. Are you safe? Do you need to come to my house tonight? I'm okay. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. My kitchen table. Bring everything I've ever mailed you. Every envelope, every letter, every document. Can you do that? Yes. Good. Get some sleep, sweetheart. We have work to do. I hang up and stare at the ceiling. She'd kept copies, all 18 years. She'd kept everything. I wonder, had she always known this might happen? Morning. I'm pulling on my shoes by the front door when Mom appears in the hallway. Hair done, lipstick on, arms crossed. Where are you going? Grandma's house. Her face changes. Not anger, something colder. Recognition. It's like she's been waiting for this move and already has a counter prepared. You called your grandmother about this. It's her money she saved. She deserves to know. Mom steps closer. Her chin trembles, right on cue. Drew, you are tearing this family apart. Do you understand what you're doing? The tears arrive. Practiced, precise. Your grandmother doesn't understand our situation. She never has. She's always judged me. This isn't about judgment. Mom. You're choosing her over your own mother, after everything I've done for you. I watch her perform. The quivering lip, the hand pressed to her chest. I've seen this exact routine 100 times. When Dad questioned the credit card bill, when Tyler's landlord called about late rent, when Aunt Patty asked why I wasn't in the Christmas card photo. Cry, deflect, reframe. Make yourself the victim. Dad stands behind her in the hallway, arms at his sides, silent. A witness to everything, as a participant in nothing. I'm not destroying this family, Mom. You did that when you stole from me. Her eyes go flat. The tears stop like someone turned off a faucet. Be very careful, Drew. I step past her. She doesn't move to block me. She doesn't need to. She's already reaching for her phone as I walk out the door. I'm barely in the car when I see it through the window. Mom pacing the kitchen, phone to her ear, gesturing wildly. She's calling Tyler, I'm sure of it. And damage control has already begun. Grandma Ruth's house sits on Maple Street, a small white cottage with blue shutters and a porch swing that's been there since before I was born. Hydrangeas along the walkway. Wind chime by the door. It always smells like coffee and lavender inside. She's waiting at the kitchen table, reading glasses on. A blue folder open in front of her, and beside it, a second folder, and a third. I stop in the doorway. Grandma, how long have you had all that? 18 years, she says without looking up. Sit down. I sit. She slides the first folder across the table. Inside, the original UTMA account opening document. My name, Drew Collins, beneficiary. Dad's name, Roy Collins, custodian. Dated the month I was born, notarized. Second folder, annual account statements, every single year. 18 of them, organized chronologically with color-coded tabs. Third folder, the most recent statement. Then current balance, $214.36. She taps it with her finger. I requested these from the bank every January. Every year, because I know my daughter. She looks up at me over her glasses. I love Diane. But I have never trusted Diane with money. My throat tightens. You knew this could happen. I hoped it wouldn't. She closes the folder gently. But I prepared for the possibility. That's not the same as expecting it. She stands, pours me coffee without asking, sets the mug in front of me. I'm calling Margaret Bowen this morning. She's the best estate attorney in this county, and then we're going to get back every cent that belongs to you. I wrap my hands around the mug. Grandma, she's your daughter. Ruth Hartwell looks at me. Her eyes are steady, clear, 74 years old, and absolutely unshakable. And you're my granddaughter, and what she did is a crime. But she did more than call a lawyer, much more than I could have imagined. And Margaret Bowen arrives at 2 that afternoon. She drives a silver sedan, wears a navy blazer even in July, and carries a leather briefcase that looks like it's survived 30 years of courtrooms. 60 years old, gray hair pinned back, handshake like a vice. She sits at Grandma Ruth's kitchen table, puts on reading glasses, and goes through every document in those blue folders, page by page. 20 minutes of silence except for the occasional sound of paper turning. And then she takes off her glasses and sets them down. Mrs. Hartwell, this is straightforward. She looks at me. Drew, this is a UTMA account, Uniform Transfers to Minors Act. The money in this account has belonged to you since the day your grandmother deposited it. Your father was named as custodian, meaning he had a fiduciary duty to manage it solely for your benefit. She taps the final statement. At withdrawing $187,000 to purchase a home for another family member is not managing it for your benefit. It is a clear violation of fiduciary duty, and given the amount, this constitutes felony theft of custodial funds under state statute. The word felony hangs in the air like smoke. What are Drew's options? Grandma Ruth asks. 2 paths: civil lawsuit for restitution, getting the money back, and a criminal complaint filed with the district attorney's office. Margaret pauses. You can pursue one or both. Ruth looks at me. I look at her. She doesn't tell me what to do. She never has. She just nods, once, and waits. Both, I say. Margaret writes something in her notebook and closes it. I'll file the complaint tomorrow morning. I'll need both of you available for statements. She shakes our hands at the door, firm, professional. The wheels are turning now. And they don't stop for anyone. After Margaret leaves, I expect Grandma Ruth to sit back down, rest, process. She doesn't. She picks up her phone and scrolls through her contacts with the focus of a woman who has already mapped out her next 3 moves. Grandma, what are you doing? Calling Karen Avery. I blink. Karen Avery, the reporter, Channel 7. She was my student, class of 2003. Good head on her shoulders, honest. Grandma, are you sure? That's public. Everyone will know. Ruth sets the phone on the table and looks at me, really looks at me, not with anger, not with urgency, with the calm certainty of someone who has watched her daughter rewrite the truth for 40 years. Drew, listen to me. Diane is already controlling the story. I guarantee she's called 5 people this morning and told them this is a misunderstanding, a family squabble. She'll go to church on Sunday and shake hands and smile and say her mother is being difficult. She leans forward. Your mother has survived every crisis in her life by making sure nobody hears the other side. She relies on our silence. That's how she operates. That's how she's always operated. I think about the Facebook post I know is coming, the one where mom casts herself as the victim. I think about how convincing she is, how she cried this morning on command, how even I, my who knows better, almost believed her. If we stay quiet, Ruth says, she turns this into a family disagreement. The DA sees a he said, she said, and she walks away. She picks up the phone again. I didn't save that money for 18 years to let my daughter steal it in silence. She dials. I sit at the table and realize my grandmother isn't just angry, she has a plan, and I have no idea yet how far it will go. By that evening, Mom is in full operation. My phone buzzes 11 times between 6 and 9 p.m. I don't answer. She calls Grandma Ruth. No answer. She texts us both. This is a family matter. You are destroying everything. Tyler will pay it back. Just give us time. But time is exactly what she used to take the money in the first place. 8 months of time. Quiet, calculated, month after month. Tyler calls me at 8:30. I pick up this one. Drew, Mom says you went to Grandma's. She's freaking out. She told me to come over there and smooth things over. Tyler, did you know where the money for your house came from? Silence. Then, Mom said she took out a home equity line. That's what the paperwork showed. There was no home equity line. She lied to you too. More silence. I can hear him breathing. Drew, Listen, let me talk to Grandma. I can fix this. You can't fix this, Tyler. It's already broken. I hang up, set the phone face down. And meanwhile, and I don't find this out until the next morning, Mom is calling neighbors, friends from church, posting in the Ridgemont Community Facebook group at 9:47 p.m. Please pray for our family. My mother is trying to tear us apart over a misunderstanding about finances. I've always put my children first. I just ask for your prayers and understanding during this painful time. 62 reactions by midnight. Hearts, prayer hands. Stay strong. And Diane. She was already rewriting the story. That's what she does. She was never going to stop. Not until someone told the truth louder. And right about then, I didn't know. But Grandma Ruth was sitting in her kitchen, drafting an email to Karen Avery with 3 blue folders at her elbow. I sat in my room that night staring at Mom's Facebook post. 62 people sending her prayers. And I thought, am I the one in the wrong here? She called it a misunderstanding. A part of me, and the part that spent 18 years wanting her to love me, wanted to believe that. But $214 in my account is not a misunderstanding. That's a choice. And her choice didn't include me. If your mother took $187,000 from you and called it a family decision, would you believe her? Or would you keep going like I did? Tell me in the comments. 2 days later. Saturday, my high school graduation party. I don't want to go. And it feels like walking into a stage play where everyone has the wrong script. But Grandma Ruth calls me that morning and says, go, sweetheart. Smile. Be gracious. Let your mother feel comfortable. Something about the way she says it makes me think this is part of a larger design. But I don't ask. The party is at our house on Oak Street. Mom has gone all out. Streamers in the school colors. A banner that reads, Congratulations Drew in gold letters. Catered sandwiches from the deli on Main. A sheet cake with my name on it. 30 people fill the living room and spill onto the back patio. Uncle Jim and Aunt Patty. Cousin Sarah. 3 of my teachers, including Mrs. Patterson, who taught me AP English for 2 years. Neighbors. Mom's church friends. A few of Dad's work contacts. Tyler is here too. He sits in the corner of the patio with a beer, barely talking. He looks like a man who hasn't slept in 3 days. Mom glides through the room like she's hosting the Emmys. Lipstick perfect, smile locked in place. She touches shoulders, refills glasses, laughs at every joke. At one point, she stands near the banner and puts her arm around me for a photo. I'm so proud of this girl, she announces to no one in particular. My independent little fighter, she's going to do amazing things. I smile for the camera. I say thank you when people hand me cards. I eat cake. But the whole time I'm watching, counting faces, 30 people in this room. Not one of them knows my college fund is gone. Not yet. It happens halfway through the party. I'm standing by the food table when Great Aunt Bonnie, Mom's aunt, walks up with a napkin in one hand and a smile so genuine it makes my chest ache. "So, Drew, where are you headed for college, sweetheart? I know Ruth must be so proud." The room doesn't exactly go quiet, but conversation's thin. A few people turn. Before I can answer, Mom is there. Is materializing out of nowhere with her hand on my shoulder, squeezing just hard enough. Oh, Drew is still figuring things out. You know kids these days. They change their minds every other week. Aunt Bonnie tilts her head. But didn't Ruth set up a fund for her? She's talked about it for years. The room is listening now. I feel it. That collective lean in. Mom doesn't miss a beat. Mother's fund was really more of a family investment. And we redirected it where it was needed most. She beams. Tyler just bought his first home. Isn't that wonderful? A few nods, a few polite murmurs of congratulation. But not everyone. I see Mrs. Patterson near the window. She's not nodding. She's watching Mom with narrowed eyes, then looking at me, then back at Mom. Her jaw is tight. Uncle Jim glances at Dad. Dad is suddenly very interested in his paper plate. Mom keeps going. Drew has always been self-sufficient. She doesn't need a fund. She's got grit. Right, honey? She squeezes my shoulder again. The whole room is waiting for me to agree. I don't agree. I don't say anything at all. I just look at my plate and think, she just told 30 people she stole my money, and she doesn't even realize it. After the party, the backyard empties slowly. Paper plates in the trash. Leftover cake on the counter. Mom inside, doing dishes, humming like nothing happened. Tyler catches me on the back porch. Drew? Wait. I stop. He looks terrible, eyes bloodshot, hands in his pockets, shifting his weight like a kid standing outside the principal's office. That fund, was it really yours? Like, legally? Only yours? I pull up the photo on my phone, the one I took at Grandma Ruth's kitchen table, the UTMA document. His eyes scan it. Beneficiary, Drew Collins. Custodian, Roy Collins. No mention of Tyler. No mention of Diane. No mention of family. His face drains of color. "Oh, I didn't know," he says, almost a whisper. "Drew, I swear to God, I didn't know." "I believe you." Mom said, she told me it was a home equity line of credit. She showed me paperwork. She said it was all legitimate. There was no line of credit, Tyler. He sits down on the porch step, puts his head in his hands. For a long moment, neither of us says anything. The crickets are loud. A car passes on Oak Street. "What do you want me to do?" he asks. I sit down next to him, not close. But next to him. "I don't want anything from you. I just want what's mine." He nods, slowly, like the weight of it is settling into his bones. "She lied to me too," he says quietly. "She looked me right in the face and lied." "Yeah," I say. "She did." We sit there in the half-dark, two siblings on opposite sides of a theft neither of us planned. And for the first time in our lives, we're on the same page. But I know, same page doesn't mean same ending. Monday morning. Mom opens the mailbox and finds an envelope from the law office of Margaret Bowen. I know this because I hear her scream from inside my bedroom, not a word. A sound, raw, furious, like an animal caught in a trap. 30 seconds later, she's banging on my door. "You're pressing charges? Against your own parents?" I open the door. She's holding the letter. Formal demand for restitution. Notice of criminal complaint filed with the district attorney. "Are you out of your mind? Drew? You stole $187,000 from me, from a custodial account. That's a felony. This is our family. This is not something you take to a courthouse." I don't raise my voice. I don't need to. The facts do the work. You had 8 months to tell me. You chose not to. This is the consequence. And then, the shift. The tears again, right on schedule. She crumples the letter against her chest. Her lip quivers. Her voice drops to that wounded whisper she's perfected over decades. "I was trying to help this family. Both my children. You don't know the pressure I've been under. Tyler didn't need my college fund, Mom." Her eyes harden. The tears evaporate. And there she is, the real Diane. Not the martyr, not the devoted mother, the woman who looked at her daughter's future and decided it was currency. If you go through with this, she says, voice flat, you will never be part of this family again. I hold her gaze. I already wasn't. She stares at me for 3 full seconds. Then she turns, walks down the hall, and slams the bedroom door so hard the family photos rattle on the wall. The next morning, Grandma Ruth called Karen Avery, and everything changed. Karen Avery arrives at Grandma Ruth's house on Wednesday at 10 a.m., a cameraman, a field producer, a gray Channel 7 van parked on Maple Street. Karen is in her early 40s, and sharp eyes. She shakes Grandma Ruth's hand at the door and says, "Mrs. Hartwell, I haven't seen you since sophomore English." "You were a terrible speller," Ruth says, "but an excellent listener. That's what matters today." They sit at the kitchen table. The blue folders are open, camera rolling. Ruth tells the story the way she does everything, calmly, completely without embellishment. 18 years of saving. $500 to $800 a month from a teacher's salary and pension. A total of $187,000, including investment returns. All deposited into a custodial UTMA account for her granddaughter, Drew Collins. She slides the documents across the table. Opening paperwork. Annual statements. The final balance, $214. "My daughter and her husband withdrew every penny," she says, looking directly into the camera. "They used it to purchase a house for their son, not for Drew. Drew did not receive a single cent." Karen asks, "And you're filing criminal charges against your own daughter?" Ruth folds her hands, steady, unshakable. "I love my daughter. I will always love my daughter. But I love justice more. And Drew deserves justice. That money was never mine to give Diane. It was never Diane's to take. It belonged to Drew from the day I deposited the first dollar." The camera holds on her face for a long moment. 74 years old, retired school teacher, backbone of steel. Karen Avery thanks her, packs up, and tells us the segment will air on Thursday evening's broadcast. 48 hours. In 48 hours, the whole town will know. Thursday, 6 o'clock news. I watch from Grandma Ruth's living room. She sits in her armchair, hands folded in her lap, eyes on the screen. And neither of us speaks. The segment runs 4 minutes. Karen Avery narrates over B-roll of our town, the courthouse, the bank on Main Street, the high school. Then Grandma Ruth's face fills the screen. Her voice, steady and clear, carrying the truth into 12,000 living rooms. Grandmother accuses daughter of stealing grandchild's $187,000 college fund. It goes exactly the way you'd expect, and then further. By 8 p.m., the Ridgemont Community Facebook group is on fire. Oh, hundreds of comments, shares, people tagging people. Mrs. Patterson, my AP English teacher, writes, "I taught Drew Collins for 4 years. She earned every grade, every award, every opportunity. That girl deserves better than this." 87 likes in 20 minutes. Parents start posting, "I have a UTMA for my son, checking it right now." Does this happen? Can a parent just take the money? "I'm calling my bank tomorrow." I scroll through comments from Ruth's couch, and most are supportive. A few are cautious. There are 2 sides to every story. But when Karen Avery posts a link to a legal explainer about custodial accounts, even the cautious ones go quiet. Mom is watching. I know because Tyler texts me at 8:22 p.m. Mom saw the news. She tried to call the station. They wouldn't pull it. Then a second text. "I saw it too. I'm so sorry, Drew. I'm going to make this right." The story gets picked up by a station at the state level by Friday morning. Ridgemont has never seen anything like this, and it's only the beginning. Mom's counterattack comes Friday at noon. A long, carefully worded Facebook post on her personal page. "The story you saw on the news tells only one side. I am a loving mother who has sacrificed everything for both my children. The funds were used for our family's future. My mother and I have had our differences for years, and I'm heartbroken that she chose to make them public. I ask for privacy, compassion, and prayers during this incredibly difficult time." It gets 114 reactions in the first hour, but something interesting happens underneath. The comments split, and not in her favor. "Diane, a custodial account belongs to the child. That's the law. I've known Ruth Hartwell for 30 years. She doesn't lie. If it was a family decision, why didn't Drew know about it?" One by one, the prayer hands thin out, the stay strong messages slow. People who were at my graduation party start going quiet. Uncle Jim deletes his comment. Mom gets removed from the Ridgemont Women's Auxiliary Group on Saturday. The church prayer chain coordinator calls and suggests she step back from leadership for a season. Neighbors stop waving. And then, a private message lands in my inbox from a name I don't recognize at first. Sandra Mullen, Mom's college roommate. Drew, I'm sorry for what you're going through. I want you to know, your mother borrowed $3,000 from me last year and never paid it back. When I saw the news, I wasn't surprised. I was just sad. I stare at the message. $3,000. Another person. Another lie. Mom's narrative is collapsing, not because anyone is attacking her, but because the truth has its own gravity. And gravity doesn't need permission. The following Wednesday, Margaret Bowen calls. Drew, I have an update. The district attorney's office has formally opened an investigation. They've subpoenaed the bank records. I'm sitting on Grandma Ruth's porch. It's a warm morning. The wind chime is turning slowly. What does that mean exactly? It means they're reviewing every withdrawal, every authorization, every signature. With $187,000 in documented custodial transfers used for a non-beneficiary purchase, this is textbook. As I would be very surprised if charges aren't filed. Textbook. My family reduced to a legal textbook example. What kind of charges? Felony theft. Given the amount, both your mother and father could face serious consequences. We're talking probation at minimum, potential prison time at maximum. I close my eyes. The wind chime makes a soft, clear sound. Is there a way? If they pay it back, can this stop? Restitution can be a mitigating factor in sentencing, but the DA makes charging decisions independently. Once the complaint is filed, it's not yours to withdraw. I call Grandma Ruth after I hang up. She's inside, making lunch. I'm scared, Grandma. Of what? That they'll actually go to prison. They're my parents. Ruth is quiet for a moment, a long moment, and when she speaks, her voice is the gentlest it's been through all of this. Drew, you didn't put them there. They put themselves there. Every signature, every withdrawal, every lie. But that was their choice, not yours. I nod, even though she can't see me through the screen door. Now come inside. Soup's getting cold. I go inside. I eat the soup. But my mind is somewhere else, because Tyler is about to do something none of us expected. Tyler calls on a Friday afternoon. His voice sounds different, quieter, older somehow. Drew, I talked to a lawyer. My own lawyer, not Mom's. Okay. I'm giving back the house. I'm standing in Grandma Ruth's kitchen as I set down the glass I'm holding. Tyler, the house is in your name. I know. And it was bought with your money. I can't live in it. I've been lying awake every night staring at the ceiling of a house my little sister paid for without knowing it. I'm done. He tells me the plan. He'll list the house for sale. The proceeds go directly into a restitution account. Margaret Bowen will oversee the transfer. Clean, legal, documented. My lawyer says I'm not legally obligated, Tyler continues. I wasn't the custodian. I didn't sign anything. I didn't know. Then why are you doing this? Because it's right, and because... He pauses. His voice cracks just slightly. Because I can't be the person Mom turned me into. I won't. I don't say anything for a moment. The kitchen is quiet. Grandma Ruth is in the next room. I can hear her turning pages. Tyler, she told you it was a loan. She told me a lot of things. Another pause. I went through the paperwork she gave me. That the home equity line of credit documents? They're fake, Drew. There's no HELOC, no lender, no loan number. She fabricated them. The air leaves my lungs. Mom didn't just steal from me. She built a paper trail of lies to cover it. She forged documents. She lied to her own son's face. Thank you, Tyler, I say, because it's all I can manage. Don't thank me. I should have asked questions a long time ago. He hangs up. I sit down at the table and stare at the wall. This family is broken. But maybe not all of it. 2 weeks later, the DA makes it official. Diane Collins and Roy Collins are formally charged with felony theft of custodial funds. The amount? $187,000. The charge? Misappropriation of UTMA assets held in fiduciary trust for a minor beneficiary. Karen Avery runs the update on Thursday's broadcast. Ridgemont couple faces felony charges after allegedly draining granddaughter's college fund. Mom hires a defense attorney. That his strategy is predictable. Argue that as custodian, Roy believed he was acting within his rights, that the family understood the funds to be collective. A misunderstanding of custodial obligations. But the bank records tell a different story. 9,000 here, 12,000 there, 15,000. Spread over 8 months, just below the reporting thresholds that would trigger automatic alerts. Calculated, deliberate, not a misunderstanding, a strategy. And then Tyler's revelation about the fabricated HELOC documents reaches the DA. That changes everything. Falsified paperwork turns a bad decision into premeditation. Roy, through his lawyer, approaches the DA with a plea offer. He wants to cooperate, admit fault, accept responsibility. Mom refuses. She's still fighting, still insisting this was her right as a mother. I watch the news from Grandma Ruth's living room. The same armchair, the same folded hands. I didn't want them in court, I say to no one in particular. I wanted them to be my parents. Ruth reaches over and squeezes my hand. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't need to. Outside, the streetlight on Maple flickers on. The sun is going down over Ridgemont, and the Collins family, whatever that word used to mean, will never be the same. But the truth is out, and truth, unlike money, can't be withdrawn. While the legal machinery grinds forward, Grandma Ruth does what she's always done. She acts. On a quiet Tuesday, she meets with Margaret Bowen at the attorney's office downtown. I sit beside her. Margaret has paperwork spread across the conference table, but this time, it's not about the case. It's about the future. I want to establish an irrevocable trust, Ruth says. For Drew, no family member as trustee, a corporate trustee, the bank. Margaret nods. That's the safest structure. No individual access except Drew, and only after she turns 21. Distributions limited to education and essential living expenses. Ruth opens her purse and pulls out a cashier's check. She slides it across the table. $42,000. I stare at it. Grandma, that's everything I have left. She says it plainly, like she's telling me the time. My savings, my pension reserve, everything that isn't this house and my Social Security. I can't take that. You're not taking it. I'm giving it. But the same way I gave the first dollar 18 years ago. She puts her hand on mine. Her fingers are thin, warm. It's not 187,000, but it's enough to start. I cry. For the first time since this whole thing began, I sit in a lawyer's office and cry like I'm 10 years old. Ruth doesn't tell me to stop. She doesn't say it'll be okay. She just holds my hand and waits until I'm done. You are worth every penny, Drew. You always have been. Margaret files the trust paperwork that afternoon. $42,000. Protected, untouchable, waiting for me. My grandmother is 74 years old. She just gave away her entire safety net. For me. Because she believes I'm worth it. And for the first time in a long time, I believe it too. Consequences don't arrive all at once. They accumulate like snow on a roof. Quiet at first, then heavy enough to change the structure. As Mom gets let go from her part-time job at Ridgemont Floral. Mrs. Garza, the owner, calls her into the back room on a Monday and says, Diane, I can't have someone facing felony charges representing my shop. I'm sorry. Mom tells Dad it's because business is slow. Dad knows better. He doesn't say anything. Dad's work dries up too. He's a self-employed electrician, has been for 20 years, but in a small town, reputation is the only resume that matters. 2 regular clients cancel contracts the same week. A third stops returning calls. Nobody sends a formal letter. They just disappear. Mom gets removed from the church women's auxiliary board. Not asked to step down. Removed. Pastor Davis calls the house and requests a private meeting. Mom doesn't go. The neighborhood shifts, subtle but unmistakable. Mrs. Whitfield across the street used to wave every morning. Now she checks her mailbox with her back turned. At the Petersons next door stop inviting my parents to the 4th of July barbecue. Tyler sells the house. It closes in 6 weeks. Net proceeds after fees, $178,000. Every cent goes into the restitution fund that Margaret Bowen set up. Tyler moves into a studio apartment across town. He picks up extra freelance work. He doesn't complain. Tyler and I still talk. Short conversations, careful ones. Yet he texts every few days. Hope classes go well. I reply, thanks, hope you're okay. We're not where we were, but we're not gone either. The town doesn't forget. But the town also doesn't pile on. People just adjust. They rearrange their understanding of who Diane Collins really is, and that for someone who built her life on image is the worst punishment of all. I don't ask for help. I never have. That's kind of the whole problem. But help comes anyway. Mrs. Toll Patterson, my AP English teacher, the one who watched Mom's speech at the graduation party and didn't nod, starts a GoFundMe 3 days after the Channel 7 story airs. The title? Help Drew Collins Get to College. Goal? $20,000. It hits 20,000 in 16 hours. By the 72-hour mark, the total is $67,000. Donations from across the state. $5 here, $50 there, a few anonymous gifts of $500. People I've never met. Writing notes like, I was the overlooked daughter too, go get your degree. And, Ruth Hartwell taught my mother in 1987. The apple doesn't fall far. Then the university calls. The admissions office. A woman named Dr. Simmons. Drew, we've been following your situation. We'd like to offer you a full tuition scholarship based on your academic merit and demonstrated community leadership. I'm sitting on Grandma Ruth's porch when she says it. My hand shakes for the first time in weeks. So, full tuition? Full tuition. 4 years. We believe in you, Drew. I hang up and walk inside. Ruth is at the kitchen table, always the kitchen table, reading the newspaper. I stand in the doorway. She looks up. I got it, I say. Full scholarship. Her face doesn't change at first. Then her chin trembles. Then her eyes fill. And Ruth Hartwell, the woman who filed criminal charges against her own daughter without shedding a single tear, cries. And it's the only time I've ever heard her cry. I knew you would, she whispers. I always knew. The GoFundMe gets redirected to living expenses and books. Every dollar accounted for, every penny toward the future. And somewhere in the list of donors, an anonymous gift of $500. I find out later it was Tyler. 4 months later. October. The leaves on Maple Street have turned gold and the air smells like wood smoke in someone else's fireplace. Roy's plea deal goes through first. He pleads to misdemeanor theft, reduced from felony, in exchange for full cooperation and testimony. 3 years probation, $93,500 in restitution, his half. He stands in the courtroom in a gray suit that doesn't fit quite right and says, I accept responsibility, Your Honor. He doesn't look at me, but I see his hands trembling at his sides. Mom holds out longer. So she cycles through 3 arguments. The money was a family resource. She had custodial discretion. Ruth was acting out of spite. Her attorney pushes each one. The judge listens. The evidence speaks louder. The fabricated HELOC documents seal it. In the end, Diane Collins accepts a plea. Felony theft, reduced to Class 4. 5 years probation. $93,500 in restitution. 200 hours of community service. No prison time, but a permanent felony on her record. And she says nothing in court. Not, I'm sorry, not, I was wrong. She signs the paperwork, stands, and walks out of the courtroom without looking at anyone. Tyler's house sale covers $178,000 of the total restitution. Mom and Dad owe the remaining $9,000 through monthly payments. Combined with Ruth's trust, the scholarship, and the GoFundMe, I start college in the fall. On time, fully funded, textbooks bought, dorm room assigned. And I sit on my new bed on move-in day and let the math settle in. Justice doesn't feel like victory. It feels like grief with a receipt. There was a moment, I keep thinking about it, if Mom had just said, I'm sorry. 2 words. Would I have dropped the charges? I don't know. But she never said it, not once, not even today. That's the part I keep coming back to. Not the money, not the courtroom, the silence where an apology should have been. And I sometimes wonder, if your parents did this to you, and they never once said they were sorry, even with the evidence in front of the judge, even with the whole town watching, could you forgive them? Or would you hold the line? I don't have the answer yet. Maybe I never will. But I'd really like to know what you think. Would you forgive? Or would you protect your boundary? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. It's November now. My dorm room is small. A single bed, at a wooden desk, a window that looks out over the main quad where students cut across the grass between classes. On the wall above my desk, there's one photo. Grandma Ruth and me on graduation day. She's wearing her blue cardigan, the one with the buttons she's had since I was a baby. I'm in my cap and gown. We're both smiling. It's the only photo from that day I kept. People ask me sometimes, friends here at school, a roommate, a professor who read the article, whether I hate my parents. And I don't. That's the honest answer, and it surprises people. I'm angry. I'm hurt in places I don't fully understand yet. But hate takes energy I'd rather spend elsewhere. What I feel is something quieter than hate and heavier than sadness. It's the weight of knowing that the people who were supposed to protect you chose not to. I'm not telling this story so you'll feel sorry for me, and I'm not telling it so you'll despise my mother. As I'm telling it because I spent 18 years believing that silence was strength, that if I was just good enough, quiet enough, easy enough, eventually I'd be seen. I was wrong. Silence wasn't strength. It was permission. And when I stopped giving permission, everything changed. If you're in a situation where someone in your family is taking from you, your money, your peace, your sense of self, I want you to hear this. Setting a boundary is not betrayal. It's not burning a bridge. It's building a door, one that only opens from your side. You get to decide who walks through. I don't know if my parents will ever come back to that door, but for the first time, the door is mine. I call Grandma Ruth every Sunday night at 7. She's still in the house on Maple Street, still has the blue shutters, the wind chime, the hydrangeas. She told me last week that the porch swing needs new chains. I told her I'd fix them over winter break, and she said she'd believe it when she saw it. The blue folders are still in her kitchen drawer. Just in case, she says. I don't argue. Tyler texts me every few days. Short messages. Nothing heavy. How's the food in the dining hall? Terrible, but free. Ha, hang in there. We're rebuilding something. I don't know what to call it yet. It's not what it was before, because what it was before wasn't real. This is slower, more careful, built on something that might actually hold. But Mom and Dad, I don't talk to them. No calls, no texts, no visits. 2 months after the sentencing, a letter arrived at my dorm. Handwritten. Mom's stationery. The cream-colored kind with her initials embossed at the top. I sat on my bed and opened it. Dear Drew, I know you may not want to hear from me. I want you to know that I did what I thought was right for this family. Your father and I have always tried to give both our children the best we could. And I hope one day you'll understand that. I read it twice, then a third time, looking for the word sorry. It wasn't there. I folded the letter, put it in my desk drawer, and closed it. Maybe one day I'll write back. Maybe I won't. But that choice, for the first time in my life, is mine. I look out the window at the quad. Students walking to class in the cold. Breath visible. Futures ahead of them. Mine too. For the first time in my life, my future is in my own hands. If you're still here, if you stayed through all of it, thank you. I know this story is heavy. I know it's the kind of thing that makes you want to check on the people you love and double-check the accounts you thought were safe. I know because I felt all of that, and I lived it. I didn't tell you this for pity. I didn't tell you this for revenge. I told you because somewhere out there, someone is sitting in their bedroom right now, staring at a bank statement that doesn't make sense. And they're wondering if they're crazy. They're wondering if it's worth the fight. They're wondering if standing up means losing everything. It might. I won't lie about that. I lost my parents. I lost the version of my family I thought I had. I lost months of sleep and years of trust. But I gained something too. I gained my future. I gained my self-respect. I gained a grandmother who taught me that love and accountability aren't opposites. They're the same thing. And I gained this. The knowledge that I am not the person who sits quietly while someone takes what belongs to me. Not anymore. If that speaks to you, if you've been the quiet one, the overlooked one, the one who keeps the peace at the cost of your own peace, I hope you hear me. You are worth standing up for. Even when the person you're standing up to shares your last name. And Grandma Ruth, if you're listening, thank you for every envelope, every dollar, every Sunday phone call. I love you, more than I know how to say. Thank you for staying until the very end. If this story made you feel something, please hit subscribe and tap that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you've ever dealt with a family member who took something that was yours, money, trust, your sense of belonging, I want to hear your story. Drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and so does this community. There's another story linked in the description about a woman whose in-laws tried to seize her inheritance at a family dinner in front of 40 guests. The way she handled it? You'll want to see how that one ends. I'll see you there.